So in this little lesson here, we're going to be taking a look at how do we put in equations. And so I'm just going to kind of clear off the ones that I had in here before. Got to clear that off. And now we have a nice blank graph. Up here on the left-hand side, top left-hand side, we have what we call an equation bar. And this little plus sign right here gives us an idea of, or it gives us options that we can take a look at. So if we look here, you'll notice that we can put in an expression, which is the default. And so that if you open up a new one, it'll always be an expression, which is an equation or an inequality or something that we're going to be looking at. Then we could do a note, and that I'll sometimes do if I'm kind of answering questions. There is a table, which we'll take a look at kind of in the last little video that we're going to go through. And then folder and image are things that we will very rarely use as we don't really need them at this point here. So let's take a look at an equation that we can put in. So we're going to look at linear functions right off the bat. I'm going to take a look at some other ones a little later on if we have some time in these videos. But I'm going to look at a linear equation and what we do with that. So let's do one in graphic form, 1/2 x plus 2. Here's our equation right there. So this is our function, y equals 1/2 x plus 2. You notice that it goes through the y-intercept, 0, 2, and it has a rise of 1, run of 2, which would be to our next one, which would be right there at 2, 3, which would be our next point. That would be how we would graph it out. We would draw a line through, and that would be our function. Now, when we're typing in functions here, up on here, so we'll get to what's on here in just a little bit. But when we type in functions right here, all we're doing is we can just type it in using either a keyboard, which I have in front of me here, or we can use the DESMOS function, which is kind of underneath my panel. There we go. We're going to just clear that off. Okay, so here's a little keyboard that we can use as well that is a part of DESMOS. If we want to type in a new equation, and I'll just open up a new one, just type it in anywhere here, we can, let's say, do that y is equal to 3x minus 1. There we go. There's our new one. Okay, we can type it in here. There is squareds, there is square roots, there is our inequalities, there's brackets. We can do letters as well if we would like. We'll normally just use this here. There is some regular functions here, sine and cos and inverse cos and such. You won't worry about that for the time being. There's a couple other ones here for that we won't really worry about right now. But these are things that we can use to type it in. I like to use my keyboard. I find it to be a little bit easier when we're typing it in, and we'll take a look at how to do different things on the keyboard as well as we go. So just we can do really any functions here. We can also do things like x equals 5. That's going to be this line right here. So that's line x equals 5. And you'll notice that each of them is a different color. And let's see if I can maybe make it a little dark. I'm going to go projector mode. It makes it a little darker for me. And so these ones right here, we can change the colors as well. You'll notice this little circle here up on the top. If we click and hold that, you can see you can change the color. So I can change it to blue or black or purple or red. I can also change it to a dashed line or a dotted line, and we'll kind of look at where that is helpful as well later on. Normally it's a nice solid line is exactly what we want. We can also turn off these functions. So if I don't want to see the red one anymore, I just click on it and it's gone. It's still here. I can click it back on if I want to see it again. And so I can do that for these functions. And yeah, so that's just a couple things that we take a look at as we're going, or that we can use in DESMOS.